Well, the careful planning of a neighborhood is not a forgotten art. We asked real estate developer Mark Schneider, who's president of the Rubinoff Company, to talk to us about the beautiful little community that's been such a success on the island now called Washington's Landing. Of course, it used to be called Hare's Island.
The first time I came over here, if you recall from the history books, the back end was a rendering plant where they took the nasty byproducts of meat processing and they burnt them into bone meal, and a fly ash dump, the city's garbage dump, and then the center were the old stockyard. So it was really very heavily industrial, had a lot of rail on it and a lot of old infrastructure. And anyway, the idea was to really take advantage of all the water, the exposure to the water that this island had, and to try to build on it and to create a mixed-use place.
So they did it. The Rubinoff folks, along with public and private partners, figured out ways to solve the problems of this old island, and they created a new neighborhood in the process.
To me, I mean, there's lots of different types of communities, and people define communities and neighborhoods in different ways. To me, connectivity is that you have the ability to meet your neighbors if you want to, and yet you have privacy if you want to. And it has great public places like the overlooks on the park here where you can gather and enjoy the views. And it has the right feel to it, it has the right detail, and it's going to appreciate and value. And you have some sense of long-term ownership and that it's going to be here forever. I think what's funny is people think this was always here.
After proving that they could convert a wretched place into something nice and attractive, the Rubinoff Company and its cohorts got involved with the planning and building of a bigger new neighborhood on the edge of Squirrel Hill.
It's called Somerset at Frick Park. And Somerset, actually somebody from Agnew Moore Smith found out that the original settlement in Squirrel Hill was called Somerset, spelled that way. And so we thought that this is kind of back to the future. So we kind of stole that from the history books. It didn't come out of some focus group. It's a real thing.
Well, this real thing is situated on acres of usable land, created with 3 feet of topsoil placed over a mountain of old steel-making residue that most people thought would never be good for anything.
Well, most people in Pittsburgh remember it as that moonscape that they saw before they went through the Squirrel Hill tunnels. But essentially it's, one of the world's largest slag piles. It's about 200 feet. They started dumping slag in the 9 Mile Run Valley in 1920 and stopped in 1980. And again, using the development project kind of to drive the resolution of a lot of issues, the mayor and the URA working with us got it going. Kind of taking the best of Pittsburgh neighborhoods and taking the best technology in houses and bringing them together and having a real mix of types, not just townhomes like Washington's Landing, but cottages and estates. We have a rental unit above a garage. We've reintroduced the granny flat. So a lot of things that made Pittsburgh neighborhoods unique you'll find here at Somerset with kind of the latest technology houses and the latest floor plans, lots of porches, very pedestrian-oriented, great public spaces. People are coming from around the world. I mean, the Prince Andrew came up here and just fell in love with it.
And it's getting bigger. The second 100 houses are being built, with a total of 700 new homes expected before it's done. It does, however, seem so new and clean and perfect that it's a bit like a movie set.
My aunt comes up here who, I lived with in Point Breeze, and she now lives in Oakmont, and she has a sense of, I think, what makes great places and great communities. And she says, I don't like this. It looks like the Truman Show. I'm like, come on. Like, it can't be nice if it's Pittsburgh, right?